ओम ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्री गुरुं परमानंदं वंदे स्वानंद विग्रहं यस्य सनिध्यमात्रेण चिदानंदायते तनुः। वर्ष नंबर 65। चित्तं चलति नो यस्मात् जिह्वा चरति खेचरी तेनेयं खेचरी सिद्धा सर्वसिद्धैर्नमस्कृता बिन्दुमूला शरीराणां शिरास्तत्र प्रतिष्ठिता भावयन्ति शरीराणाम् आपादतलमस्तकम्। खेचर्या मुद्रया येन विवरं लम्बिकोर्धतः न तस्य क्षरते बिन्दुः कामिन्या लिङ्गितस्य च यावद्बिन्दुस्थितो देहे तावन्मृत्युभयं कुतः। यावद्बद्धा नभो मुद्रा तावत् बिन्दुर्न गच्छति। I think up to this we have seen, if I'm right. So, especially this Nabha Mudra or Khechari Mudra being taught, which can be practiced at any given moment. And especially when we do practice this Nabha Mudra, make sure that the Apana Vayu supports the prana. So there is some catch is there. There is some trick is there. Because when you do the Khechari Mudra and Apana Vayu supports or goes along with the prana, then only what will happen? The prana will be elevated. Whereas if the Apana Vayu does not support prana, it's like you are trying to pulling up, but doesn't come. Example is like child. The mother and child goes to the shopping mall. Now the child sees some chocolates or sees some toy. Now what happens to mother? So mother pulls the child, but child is not able to come. And you will discover the child will start rolling there. Sometimes you pull the shirt will come away, the child will have nothing. You understand? How that happens? Same thing also here. So to make sure that the apana should align with prana fantastically, then only things will move. And he says, look, the whole concept here is that not allowing the bindu to fall on this, mainly fall down from the Vishuddha chakra. number one. So technically, if it falls in the digestive fire, then definitely it will be wasted. And when it is wasted, definitely the fear, the worries, anxieties, all these things comes. And to avoid that, so he says a beautiful point. Suppose it has already fallen in digestive fire. After that, it will be wasted. So then how to again bring up? So there are some mudras. He quickly says, verse number 69, Charitopi yada binduhu sampraptascha hutasanam vajati uttram hrute shaktiya niruddho yani mudraya. It's a very simple logic. If the bindu is being shaken up, disturbed, and it has fallen in Vaishwanara Agni, that's why he said Hutashanam, it has fallen on digestive fire. Now, definitely it's going to be wasted, but you need to bring it out. So that's why, so you need to use this Kundalini Shakti. So how? First, through the Kundalini Shakti, you need to arrest. So generally what we do is very simple way. At least this Mula Bandha to be made. So once this Mula Bandha is being made, so then you start working on. And meanwhile, here, Yoni Mudra to be made. So there are certain policies, tricks are there. So different people do practice Yoni Mudra differently. But generally, we take, this is also one way we do it. And there are different methods are available. Okay. So when we do Yoni Mudra, through this, what happens is the person not only will be able to pull up the overall the energy, also the person will be stable. The stability comes. That's why time to time Yoni Mudra is being practiced. In fact, sometimes what we do when we see go to the temple and other things, mainly in India, those who go to mainly mother temples, they will do pranam with Yoni Mudra. And any temple, actually a lot of things we do follow just to make sure that the person, you can get the best in any given situation. But here being practices, when things goes wrong, or when you discover that things are not happening according to you, so there we follow certain tricks to come back to the track. So that's why one of the method, this is Yoni Mudra. Then he says, look, 2 points he wants to highlight. He is trying to say about this, the concept of Bindu. So let us read. Sapuna Devidho Bindu Panduro Lohitas Pandura Sukramityahu Lohitakyo Maharaja Says, look, Bindu is divided into two. One is called Shukram, other one is called Maharaja. So when it says Shukram and Maharaja, and it has got two colors. So one is a Pandura, half white. Other one is called Lohitaksha, red, blood color. And he says, look, Shukram is a Pandura of white, faded white. Whereas Lohitaksha is called Maharaja. Continue. Sindura Dravasankasham Nabhistani Stitam Raja Shashistani Stito Binduhu Tayoraikyam Sudurlavam. So here he says, look, and highlights that the how this combination, because it is going to talk a lot in this regard. The point highlights that as we discussed very carefully, that when Bindu is there in the body, that long the person has urja. That long the person has the energy, the brilliance. Urja means brilliance. That's why I gave you a lot of examples yesterday, and that to this practical example of a snake. And here he says, this Bindu has its own color. Also, it has own location. And here, how to look at? The first point he very nicely highlights that Sindura Dravasankasam Nabhistani Stita Raja. So that means what? That in the Nabhal region, Manipuraka, and in fact, that is the Sodasadhara. We have discussed in details earlier. So there, in that, mainly in Chandrasthanam, in Ida side, you can use the word, is the Bindu. And in fact, we say very carefully, here a little bit, it should be adjusted differently. Raja will be in Ida, Sasisthana, and Bindu will be in Suryasthana. So, one side Raja, other side Bindu. And he says, look, Tayoho Aikyam Sudurlavam iti. That both of them meeting, the both of them joining and having oneness. is something very rare. So, tayoho aikyam sudurlamam iti. Continuing. Bindu shivo raja sakti, chandro bindu rajo ravi, anayo sangamat eva, prapyate paramam padam. Because I understand I have not given translation to you people, so you people must be getting now lost. So, because I thought, once in a while, don't give the translation so that let, you people break your head. He says, look, he starts comparing. So this Bindu Shiva and Raja is called Shakti. Bindu Shiva, Raja Shakti, not much translation to be given. So Bindu Shiva, Raja Shakti. And again also he says, Chandraha is Bindu, Rajaha is Surya. So when we say very nicely that it is very difficult moon and sun to be together. So that is how this Raja and Bindu to join together is very auspicious, very rare. That's why he says, Anayoho Sangamad eva prapyate paramam padam. So to see that when these two are joining, because the job of the yogi is to join together. Now, for that, what happened? That oneness takes place, and that is what is being highlighted, that the person gets paramam padam, the absolute abode. That means the person understands what is all about it. Because we need to see here very carefully. Because for a yogi, what a common person sees in outside, yogi visualizes, understands that everything is in the body, number one. And number two, the yogi has to make oneself prepared in such a way that at any given situation, the yogi should not have any sort of disturbances. That's why generally yogis avoid interacting any community you look at, whether it is Hinduism, whether it is Buddhism, whether it is Christianity, they don't interact. Because if they interact, definitely there will be some type of disturbance in them. It is like very simple but selfish logic that when especially you are enjoying ice cream in summer, sitting one place that too midday, just enjoying. And that time, the fellow who makes a lot of noise only takes ice cream, eats and throws it, and that fellow arrives there. What will happen to you? Will you feel disturbed or not? Will you get irritated or not? Okay, at least you are enjoying. If let that person comes and enjoy, then no problem. The way you eat, so that person also eats the same way I enjoys. Suppose you close your eyes, wow. That fellow says, wow. But when you say, wow, that means what is there, wow? This ice cream made up of is bad water, for example's sake, okay? Then what happens to you? Whether you like it or not, you get irritated. Same thing also. When a yogi starts enjoying the anandam that is in one's own self, and this yoganandam, discovering ananda in yoga, now that person will not like to mingle with other people unless other person has got the same. It's like any one of you also. If you observe, you are being surrounded by the same mentality of people. The whole life is like conflict takes place. We say very nicely, no, how this is prarabdha, but again also mentality, both we can take it. We say prarabdha example, we give how the calf gets, dragged towards its mother. You can keep hundreds of cows and hundreds of calves differently. Maybe they may look alike. Release the calves. You will discover each calf will go to their own mother. They will never go here and there. Human case it may differ, okay? But because especially the child, if little smart, no, I want to choose another mother, okay? I'm tired of this mother already. Anyway, when you grow up, definitely you are tired of your mother. Don't worry, okay? So everybody starts fighting with mother first, okay? So that means that time you become a grown-up person. The moment you start fighting, joke apart. So you start going towards that, or you are being surrounded with those people, or you get attracted towards that people. If you observe the way your mind is, the wavelength has to match. That's why there are certain cases you get dragged without your knowledge, and even if you feel suffocated, but your mentality matches there, wavelength matches there, still you continue. That's why here he highlights this point very carefully, that a person, to make sure that trying to bring this Bindu and Roger together and have a balanced life. How? Again continues. Vayuna Sakti Charena Preritam tu Yadarajah Yati Bindu Sahi Katvam Bhavet Divyam Vapustataha. Here he says, look, you also, if you observe, a person now has to use this Mahamudra especially, and to make sure the pranavayu starts moving, and especially when prana and apana, they get joined, they get supporting each other, especially apana becomes subservient to prana. That's the most important point. Imagine apana buses over, prana becomes subservient. That is a disaster. So most of the time, prana becomes subservient and apana buses over. And when that happens, you get into loop. You get bored, tired. Sometimes you become helpless, hopeless. And of course, If the prana starts fighting little bit here and there, then disturbance. But the reality or the yogi's approach should be other way around. The apana should be subservient to prana. And when apana starts serving prana, you will see a big change in you. And that is what the person must work for it. And when with this effort, a person manages, especially after the purification and other things, and taking the help of Mahamudra. Later on, also we'll say, because already we have seen Mahamudra, we have seen Navamudra also, Kechari. And of course, we'll be talking about Uddiyana Bandha. When the person takes the help of all these aspects, the person will be able to completely change the body. And that is what he says, Sahikatvam bhavet divyam vapuhu tata. The body itself will become changed, will be divine. That's why when we look at very carefully, that especially if you keep practicing Nadi Suddhi regularly, and of course Kapalabhati, with three bandhas that we teach, because in Kapalabhati, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jalandhara are there. Three. Just you can see for yourself. Within 1 month of time, you will see change in your body. Forget about mind. Just every day, you practice for 1 month. Don't miss. The color of the body, the smell of body, the skin of body also changes. Because it has to change, there is no choice. And that's why making the body divinity means making the body the way it's supposed to be. It is completely in one's hand. And when this is there, then he says, Shukram Chandrena Sayuktam. Shukram Chandrena Sayuktam. Raja Suryena Sanyutam. Tayo Samarasai Katvam. Yo Janati Sayogavite. Shodhanam Nadijalasya. Chalanam Chandra Suryayo. Rashanam Shoshanam Chaiva. Mahamudra Vidhiyate. This is look. This is what Mahamudra also. The one who knows that Shukra is connected to Chandra and Raja is connected to Surya. So that means Raja in Surya Shukra, any Chandra. And of course, when the person makes both together, and that person is a yogavid, is a yogi. Yah janati yogavid. The one who practices becomes a yogi. And of course, to do this mixing, we say to make this thing to move, chalanam. So what is to be done? First, you need to do sodhanam. Nadi jalasya sodhanam. So you need to do purification. That's why we say start with Nadi Shuddhi. So at least every 2-3 hours, Nadi Shuddhi can be practiced. In fact, when we were having Yoga Chudamani Upanishad once upon a time, okay, more than a decade. And we had practiced, in fact, one day, few days we did practice, every 2-3 hours, Nadi Shuddhi will be there. The body, mind was something really amazing. In fact, this is what we should do in ashrams. The teachers should be there to practice and make others practice. So here what happened is, I'm sorry, little bit changing. Rasanam sosanam chaiva mahamudra te avidhyate. So that means this, when you practice this mahamudra through mahamudra, you are able to take the essence and you are able to uplift it. That's why this is called mahamudra. So here I was trying to say, so that to complete this together, that in our way, neither we follow yoga, nor we follow Vedanta, nor we follow any, bhakti, any devotion or karma kanda. We are following not integrated, convenient yoga. So our ashram is called convenient ashram. Starting with, we need convenient place, convenient room, convenient food. You understand? So everything is convenient. So we focus on what? Based on my convenient, including Swamiji, only I have holiday this much time. So can you do some course during that time so that I can come? So I want to come also there according to my convenient. You understand? Remember, the practices never happens in convenient time in a convenient way. In fact, anything and everything must be convenient. And in fact, by practicing especially Mahamudra with Navamudra, you will discover sometimes in a daytime, morning, evening, 2-3 times, practicing Mahamudra would be very helpful. And especially to make sure that Paschimottanasana you are able to do properly. Okay, please understand. If you are not able to do Paschimottanasana properly, Mahamudra cannot be done properly at all. That's why first work on Paschimottanasana. Suppose if Paschimottanasana you are not good for you or you are not able to do properly both way, try to do Padahastasana. Okay, so Padahastasana, just standing and standing on your heels and falling down so that let the hand palms touch the ground. and slowly bring your forehead towards your knee. So when you start doing Padahastasana, some flexibility will be there. And with that flexibility, start working on Paschimottasana. And with the help of Paschimottasana, or after preparing yourself through the Paschimottasana, if you start practicing Mahamudra, it will work like anything. And moreover, make sure your stomach is empty. So when stomach is empty, it is better and it works in much better way. So with this, I should stop it so that we will see later on the next chapter, which is called Uddiyana Bandha. Om Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.